Cheers, Andrew.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good, thanks.
Come straight in.
Afternoon everyone, and welcome to a bouncing St Andrews for the final time this season, for a day of pure celebration, a day that Blues fans are soaking up and savouring in the St Andrews at Nighthead Park sunshine. After a decade of despair, the good times are back, and it makes you proud to be a Blue again. We're back in our sanctified home on Coronation Day, and once more this side are on the brink of writing yet more history. Avoid defeat today, and these players will become only the fourth Birmingham City side in 150 proud years to go unbeaten in a league season here at St Andrews at Nighthead Park. Not just that, but more. Victory today sees us no longer stand amongst the League One greats, but surpass them as the best team to exist in this division. A season of resurgence and redemption awaits its crowning glory, today on a turf that has been restored to its loud and proud best in the second city, as the Mansfield players and staff flank the tunnel to give the League One champions a guard of honour in our sanctified St Andrews home, as Christoph Clara leads Blues out the tunnel as today's captain. The flamethrowers go off, there go the fireworks. A day of coronationary celebrations begin. League One champions greeted by a sellout St Andrews at Nighthead Park crowd, and you can just see everyone smiling from ear to ear and shaking their head in disbelief as to what this football club has become. A football club reborn. Here to witness it alongside me, Marcus Painter. I mean, Paint, a day for the fans to savour and soak in. Centurions on Monday, our coronation today, and these fans have been through a decade of hurt. Now they're proud again to wear the blue shirt, and what an occasion it's already been today.
Oh, it's been unbelievable. We've been lapping it up for the last 10 to 15 minutes, just eagerly anticipating the players coming out to the pitch. And I can honestly say, you know, I'm a staff member at the club, but also a big Blues fan, and to see it back to what I remember as a child is honestly, it's a goosebump moment. That fantastic to see, and you know, great to see this club, as you said, reborn again and going in the direction that we all want to see it going. Fantastic occasion today. You know, it's been a great season, and one that I imagine the players will remember this day especially for the rest of their footballing careers.
Yeah. The weather helps as well. It's a beautiful day in the second tier. The sun is drenching the St Andrews turf in golden sunshine. 6 changes to Thursday's win at Stevenage. Ethan Laird, Christoph Clara, Ben Davis, Timoki Iwata, Willem Willemsen and Jay Stansfield come in. So it's Ryan Alsop in goal. Laird, Clara, Davis and Cochrane. Clara the captain. Iwata and Pek Sang-ho. Kieran Dow, Willem Willemsen and Keshi Anderson. And then Jay Stansfield still chasing that golden boot, of course. He starts up top. As for Mansfield, they've just about survived with the 4 relegated teams all but confirmed. They have secured their place in League One for another season as their players and staff make the journey across the turf to applaud their travelling supporters in the far corner. Christy Pym in goal for them. Oshilaja, Flint their captain and McDonald at the back. Bowery and George Williams the wing backs. Bacchus, Craig and Boateng in behind Vickers and Jordan Rhodes. And we're going to hear a club reborn, a club anthem of coronation of champions. It's Keane right on. Goosebumps. An anthem that just encapsulates this club's journey from a decade of despair, a club on its knees, now with the world at its feet. So Blues have been turned around and be shooting towards the Tilton in this first half. So for the one last time at home this season, in what Chris Davis has described as one of the most special days of his life, it's a day for celebration, an announcement of rebirth and a nod to the future. A day we have longed for over the past decade, and I implore you to soak it up and enjoy it. The task on the pitch is to secure those 3 points and make this afternoon's League One coronation a record-breaking one. So in the golden sunshine on a beautiful April afternoon, it's Blues to get us underway, firing from right to left towards the Tilton, and Ryan Alsop sends a long ball forward towards that right-hand side. And of course it would be amiss of me, Paints, to not mention a bittersweet feature of today, a celebration of Lukas Jukovic announcing his retirement from football. And he's on the bench today, and I'm sure we will see his final act at St Andrews this afternoon.
Yeah, you'd expect he'll get some minutes at some point during the game just to get the deserved send-off, if you like. You know, an absolute legend of the club. You know, I think many fans will back me up on that. You know, just an absolute top professional, and a great servant to this football club. You know, he's been through some tough times, some good times, and you know, to kind of finish it off on a day like today would be excellent for him. You know, I think someone that's held in such high regard, fantastic.
Yeah, very few have captured the essence of Birmingham City like Lukas Jukovic has, and he deserves nothing but respect for what he's done. A true legend of the football club. As Stansfield breaks away down the left-hand side, breaks into the penalty area, just held up on the side, and then Cochrane swings the ball in. It's hooked away by Williams, only as far as Cochrane on this near side, the left. Keshi Anderson looking to tease Bowery down the left-hand side for Blues. It's back with Peck. Peck rolls it in field for Iwata. Anderson, useful pocket of space, and he can spin. Left-footed ball across the penalty area. It's blocked by George Williams, the right centre-back for Mansfield. It's played back to Iwata. Siphoned effort. Hits Jay Stansfield, and he can't turn and pull the trigger in the penalty area. But a bright start in the sunshine from Blues this afternoon with just a minute gone.
Yeah, that's the start you want, you know, especially when there's an atmosphere that's been built pre-game. You want to make sure that you kind of keep the fans on the edge of their seat, and you know, only in the first minute or so there we've had a glimpse of Keshi Anderson getting inside the penalty box and, you know, looking to be threatening as we've done so often this season.
There's Bowery lining up at right wing back in Mansfield's signature 3-5-2 formation. There's Christy Pym, 8 clean sheets for him this season, but conceded 5 in the last game against Reading in a 5-1 defeat for Mansfield at home at Field Mill. They're in their changed black strip this afternoon as Vickers goes charging past Christoph Clara, but the Blues captain turns on the afterburners and recovers well to get goal side. Takes a clip off the youngster on loan from Brighton, goes down, free kick to Blues right in front of those Mansfield supporters, 0-0.
He did ever so well there, Clara, because Vickers got a turn of pace, actually gets a good yard ahead of Clara, looks to get his body across, but Clara recovers fantastically and wins the foul, kind of calms the danger.
And remember, as well as a day for celebration, it's a day for records, of course. Not only the points record that Blues are chasing. If we win this afternoon, we can break Wolves' League One record and confirm our place as the best to ever do it in this division since its inception in 2004. But not only that, but this Blues side can become only the 4th Birmingham City side in our history to complete a whole league season at home unbeaten if we avoid defeat today. The first time since 1972 to achieve that. We've been spoiled with the records this season, really, haven't we, Paige?
That's it. I mean, you know, I think there's been numerous records broke, hasn't there? And you know, you have to give credit to the players and the staff for that. I mean, it's been an outstanding season, but saying that, no doubt that they will have the target in mind of the League One record, and then following that it would be the EFL record. So, you know, I know Chris Davis is one to keep his players hungry, and this game will be no different, despite the occasion of getting the trophy at the end of the 90 minutes.
Ryan Allsop sends a long searching ball forward for Ethan Laird. He's well watched by Callum McDonald, who makes his first start since February at wing back for Mansfield. Jordan Rhodes is the man alongside Caelan Vickers up there for Mansfield. The long ball by Pym is towards Vickers, miscontrolled under the pressure of Christoph Clara, and it's a throw-in for Blues. And it's just brilliant. Every time we look around, it's just a sea of blue and white. And even on the way to the stadium, driving in, you see so many Blues shirts littered around, and it's just a joy to see Birmingham fans proud to wear the colours again around the city. And Anderson, released down the left-hand side, his ball into the penalty area, blocked behind by Bowery. First corner of the afternoon will be at the Tilton end.
Comes down Keshi Anderson's side again. You know, another player that's had a fantastic season. You know, you've only got to look at the assists and goal contributions that he's had this season. You know, he's been pivotal in our success. You know, a lot seems to go down our left-hand side there, and he's the type of player that once you get you 1v1, you are in real trouble.
Cochrane will deliver this left-footed from the near side in the second City sunshine. Low ball into the front post, easily swept away to the edge of the penalty area by Mansfield. And then it was Bacchus who held on to it too long, and he's been dispossessed on the edge of his own penalty area by Blues. And there's Iwata carrying the ball towards the corner flag, and he's won a second consecutive corner with a back heel off of George Williams.
Done well there, Iwata. You know, I think he didn't have many options on, to say the least. Had a number of bodies around him, but just tried to win something. I think in those situations there, you just make sure the attack doesn't fizzle out, and he's done that. Ricocheted off the Mansfield defender and out for a corner.
Peck this time, right-footed ball into the near post from the left-hand side. Clara was stooping, but he's beaten to it by a black Mansfield shirt. It's out of play on this near side. Cochrane wanted to get on with it quickly. And Keshi Anderson's peeled away to the byline to provide the option. He controls it with his chest, tees up Alex Cochrane, who sends a looping ball into Christy Pym's penalty area. And the Mansfield goalkeeper in the luminous pink strip just had to watch that as he lost it momentarily in the sunshine, but provided the catch nonetheless. 0-0.
Not the best ball in, but as you say, Matt, sometimes those ones where they're hanging in the air for a long time, the keeper just has to keep his eye on it. We have seen them spill them in the past, but this time Pym just gathers it and gets his team up the pitch.
Pym sends it forward. Ben Davies, who's been instrumental to the Blues' spine and the Blues' success at the back this season. Just the 11 goals conceded at St Andrews at Knighthead Park in the league this season to go with our imperious home form. And out of the 42 games that Ben Davies has been involved with this season, 21 clean sheets. McDonald sends it upfield towards Jordan Rhodes. He's been in the air by Ben Davies, who has the job of marshalling the veteran striker this afternoon. Rhodes. Pek Sung-ho just loses it on the edge of the Blues penalty area, and stealing in there was Bacchus, and a chance for Mansfield, but the referee's whistle has gone to signal a free kick Blues way, as Cochrane was caught by a lunging Bacchus challenge as he won possession back, and Blues are going to free kick. But the first glimpse at goal for Mansfield.
Yeah, it just comes from a little bit of looseness, just turning over possession in a dangerous area. But credit to Cochrane there. I think he's been really brave, just putting his head in, to try. I think it's one where you can actually see the player approaching you. You might end up with a boot in the face, but really brave. Just ends up getting the free kick again, relieving the danger.
Well, Tom Wagner is here this afternoon to ask in these celebrations and commemorate what he has been instrumental in building here at Birmingham City and restoring life back into this sleeping giant. Bowery flicks on from Pym's long ball forward, and Rhodes is seen to by Davis at the expense of a throw-in. Jordan Rhodes, who has already scored against Blues this season for Blackpool in the FA Cup tie at Bloomfield Road in 2024. Mansfield have just raised the level slightly after absorbing a bit of Blues pressure for the opening 5 or so minutes and flexed their muscles themselves, but they've been halted on the edge of the Blues penalty area from their most recent offence. And Ryan Alsop can just trade passes with Ben Davies and give Jordan Rhodes the run around on his press. 0-0. Williamson looks to link up with Laird. Loose pass back by Williamson, picked up by Boateng, and he will look to slot Rhodes in a slip. Means Bowery's in, and Bowery fires over the crossbar via a touch over from Ryan Alsop.
Again, just a moment where you've got Mansfield kind of preying on our build, preying on us to pounce on any opportunity where we're slightly loose with it. And they do break quickly. Actual good chance there for Barry, wasn't it? He puts his foot through the ball, and Ryan also maybe gets fingertips to it. I don't know. It seemed to be travelling very quick, but referee obviously thought so.
Oh, And the Mansfield corner was met by a Mansfield man and put wide. What a chance, best chance of the game so far. And it looks like it's Oshilaja, the centre-back, who's placed his free header wide. Oh, what a chance. What a sitter. What a let-off for Blues.
Yeah, it was an excellent delivery into the box, wasn't it? And where the ball lands there, Oshilaja, I'm not sure he'll have a better chance than that. Dropping to him inside the 6-yard box. Just doesn't make the most of it.
He linked back up with his former Burton boss, Nigel Clough, when he joined Mansfield in the summer. And was inches away from scoring his 4th goal of the season, and probably feels like he should have.
Yeah, it's a golden chance, isn't it? And especially when you're coming away from home, you know, against a team that are champions, that can have lots of the ball. They're the moments you actually need to take to give yourself a little advantage early on in the game, and particularly quieten the crowd, especially after, you know, the build up to it being so lively, and the fans really backing the team this afternoon.
Yes, their first visit to St Andrews in a competitive fixture, Mansfield, for 34 years. And they'll be desperate to spoil the party that they've witnessed, as you say, paints in the build-up, and put a bit of a silver lining on what has been a poor calendar year for them. Mansfield Town, just 2 wins in their last 20 is the dampening record that's really seen them plummet down the league in 2025, as Flint launches the ball forward. Ethan Laird with McDonald on his shoulder, needs to be careful. And there's Oshilaja, who just had that glaring opportunity that he put wide a moment ago. Boateng turns and steers the ball tight down the left-hand side. Ethan Laird with a slight clearance in field that's latched upon first by the black shirts of Mansfield. And there's Bowery, first time ball into the penalty area, hung up towards the back post. But too much on that, and it'll bounce out of play. And maybe just a wake-up call for Blues.
Yeah, I think, you know, this is a time now you need to try and find some sort of control in the game. We've had moments where we've had the ball at the back and we've tried to build, but we haven't really made the most of that in terms of progressing up the pitch. If anything, Mansfield have pounced on 1 or 2 bits of looseness from us. So yeah, we need to just kind of settle the game a bit. You know, I think Mansfield have probably been buoyed by those chances where they have landed on the ball just outside our 18-yard box.
Laird on the far side, just dribbling in front of the Kop midway inside Mansfield territory. There's Paik Sung Ho. Such artistry in his play as he sprays it inside to Davis. This is Cochrane in the St Andrews sunshine. Ben Davis, touch takes him back over the halfway line, but Christophe Clara is there for refuge, and Clara in the centre circle. Iwata, first time to Dow, and Anderson's calling for it on this near side. Clara ignores him and slips it through to Iwata. Iwata urged to shoot, he slips it through towards Willemsen, he's stopped in his tracks, and Boateng can slam the ball forward. Brought down by Dow, midway inside Mansfield territory. Poor clearance from Boateng. Dow sprays it across to Iwata. Ethan Laird tights the touchline on the right-hand side. It's worked back inside to the Japanese, Tomoki Iwata, just looking to pick the right pass into space for Stansfield, edge of the 18-yard box. Flint just about manages to rob Stansfield of the ball, and then just sweeps his clearance out of play. Anywhere will do, because Blues are really turning the screw after a quarter of an hour here at St Andrews.
Yeah, just looking to find the ways to break through, weren't they, there? You know, Iwata with a nice little slide into Williamson, but you know, these are the moments when you get Keshi Anderson 1v1.
Anderson will stand it up towards the back post. McDonald, Oshilaja going into his way and concede the corner kick.
That's it, you know, there's no defender likes that. No defender likes being isolated, especially when you're against the Keshi Anderson that can go left, he can go right, you know, and it's a good delivery actually, wasn't it? You know, kind of hung it up towards the back post. It had to be defended well by Mansfield.
Dowell, left-footed delivery into the penalty area. It's all the way through, and Anderson was waiting in the penalty area. He couldn't make any convincing contact from the 6-yard box. Mansfield about scrambled it away, but Alex Cochrane's first to the loose clearance. Davis can turn inside his own half, and Blues are just slowly but surely asserting their rhythm on the fixture after a quarter of an hour. after being let off the hook as Oshilaja sent a golden opportunity wide from the Mansfield corner kick a few moments ago. Lovely ball in field by Dow for Stansfield. Lovely reverse ball to find Ethan Laird inside the full-back. The flag was up. Well, I thought McDonald had a bit of a head start on Ethan Laird there, but linesman's a lot closer to it than us.
So did I. You know, I actually thought he had a yard on Ethan Laird there, but in all fairness, I think the linesman's got maybe a better view than I have. And I think that's one that Chris Davis is immediately checking as we speak. He's straight on the iPad looking at whether it was offside. I'm sure he'll let the fourth official know if it wasn't.
Peck. Short to Dow in the centre circle. Dow chips it up towards Keshi Anderson, left-hand side, squaring up George Williams into the penalty area. Anderson just missed control, then that allowed Mansfield to put their boot through it downfield. But again, lovely sand wedge from Kieran Dowd, ball right under his feet, and he plucked it out to a tee to find Keshi Anderson down the left-hand side. Just offers such another dimension of attack, Kieran Dowell. 9 goal contributions in his 18 Blues appearances, and again this time looks to slip Willemsen through down the right-hand side of the box. That's overhit and behind for a goal kick, Paints.
Oh, he's an intelligent player, Dowell. You know, he's got bags of quality. He can pick out a pass, and we saw that just a minute or so ago. But you know, even there, I know he's overhit the pass, but he's looking to slide Willemsen just in between the two Mansfield defenders. Clever intelligence that he plays with. Excellent at finding the pocket.
They've won just one of their last 10 away games, Mansfield. And only 3 teams outside the relegation zone have conceded more goals away from home than the Stags. That's so far, 20 minutes in. Keeping Blues at bay on our coronation day, of course. Blues will lift the title at the end of play as Christoph Clara just trades passes with Ryan Allsop inside his own penalty area, and then Oshilaja nudges Kieran Dowell out of play at the expense of a Blues throw it. And Dowell wants the ball into space. Oh, that's a great shimmy to sit Bacchus down, and Dowell can storm forward and look to dink it up to Keshi Anderson. He'll get there, Anderson, albeit fall slightly wide towards the corner flag, and he's won a corner off of Bowery as well. Sensational wing play from Keshi Anderson. A lost cause, no such thing.
Yeah, Dowell had just slightly overhit that one, hadn't he? And you know, as you say there, Matt, you know, as you think it's a lost cause, Keshi Anderson doesn't give up on it. Does ever so well just to even get something from the end of it. Wins himself a corner, just looks to beat his man and comes off Bowery, doesn't it? But you know, you're looking at the players that are looking to create. A lot is going through Kieran Dowell at the moment. He's getting on the ball ever so much.
Right on cue. Kieran Dowell goes for the spectacular and finds the Tilton upper tier. Ball fired into Jordan Rhodes, who will look to hold it up for Mansfield. Bacchus is surely offside as it's slipped through to the attacker, and the linesman's flag obliges. So 0-0 at St Andrews at Knighthead Park. We've played 21 minutes. And of course, Blues with our final home game before we're on the road straight away back up to Blackpool before finishing our season at already relegated Cambridge. And there's Tom Wagner pictured there in attendance, and the man who has spearheaded this club's resurrection and has so many aspirational plans still to go, as the first emergence of the afternoon of Lukas Jukovic from the bench after announcing his retirement from football in what will be his final St Andrews outing as a Birmingham City player.
Has such a good connection with the fans, you know, and he has done for many years. And you can see the admiration every time he goes to warm up or just in and around the club. The amount of fans that really admire him, and you know, he'll definitely have a special part in the hearts of many of the fans here.
Yeah, 19 years of service, 355 appearances, 69 goals, and a top scorer for 3 out of the seasons he spent at Blues. 3 of the 20, I should say, seasons he spent at Blues. A great ball, beats Williams, and Stansfield's onto it, and Stansfield looks to tee up Willemsen, might get a second stab at it. It's Willemsen. It's snuffed out by a triplet of black shirts before his effort could test Christy Pym.
It's an excellent pick out by Stansfield, just got his head up, you know, found that Williamson was in the middle of the 18-yard box, if you like, and just as he took that extra touch, just allowed the Mansfield players just to smother him and block the shot. But I loved the movement by Stansfield initially, just to go and receive that ball, span down the side. As we've seen, you know, time and time again, he's such a willing runner, isn't he, Stansfield? The work rate he puts in 90 minutes is phenomenal, you know. And then put on top of that, amount of goals he scored as well. Just, I've been such an important part of this successful team this season.
Iwata, as he has done on so many occasions this season, showing that he can do both sides of the game. He's so elegant, has such an artistry in possession, but he's also dogged and scrappy and does the hard yards. And Cochrane's picked out Peck over the top. Brilliant touch by the South Korean. And the ball into the penalty area is blocked by Flynn. Paek Sung-ho just has such an artistry to the game. It's such a joy to watch him every single week. Here he is again, takes the corner quickly to Keshi Anderson. And Blues are really turning up the heat in the sunshine at St Andrews. And here's Iwata, and he tees up Kieran Dowell. And Dowell will roll it to Ethan Laird, who lets it run towards the byline, down the right-hand side. Laird faced by McDonald, and McDonald gets a toe-in at the expense of a throw-in. And we've played 24 minutes. Cochrane spaces across to Paek Sung-ho, who's retained his position on the left-hand side here. Feint one way, then the other from the South Korean, then a ball roll before finally offloading to Alex Cochrane. And now Iwata in the centre of the park, and now Davis steps away from Rhodes, and Davis can drive, and Anderson looks to slip through Paek, but Bowery's on hand to intervene and roll it back for Pym, who can put his boot through it downfield. But Blues have been encamped in Mansfield territory for the past 5-10 minutes now, Paints.
Yeah, it's been a lot of a period of sustained attack, if you like. You know, again, Stansfield now receiving the ball between the lines.
Goes for the 1-2 with Down on the edge of the penalty area. Mansfield got a toe in, but Blues retain possession, and there's Willemsen, and that's brilliant, and there's Anderson, and that is a sensational opening goal for Blues.
You could sense that was coming. You could sense it was coming. You know, just a few seconds before that, we were saying that we were experiencing sustained period of pressure on Mansfield, and what a great bit of play between a number of players there. Just the slide, the reverse pass, I should say, and the finish by Keshi Anderson into the corner of the net. What a superb goal. Chris Davis was applauding that. You'll be really pleased with the finish there, and the attacking intent behind it.
Intricate build-up, expertly dispatched into the bottom corner by Keshi Anderson for his 9th goal in a season where he has torn up League One. Impish football on the edge of a congested penalty area. The movement, the touch from Willemsen, the finish from Anderson, all sublime, Paints.
Oh, it's great, isn't it? You know, that vision from Williamson just to reverse the pass. You know, the movement from Keshi Anderson to start outside to come inside, and the finish to top it all off. What a fantastic goal.
And that's the magic that Willemsen can provide to you in those pockets, in those moments. The vision that precious little other players see, and Willem gets his goal contribution that he's been thirsting for this calendar year. See the best of the Icelander in the past few weeks as the Mansfield players seek an instant reaction, but the ball into the penalty area, overhit and behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, just talking about Williamson earlier there, Matt, you know, he probably, I think he'd admit himself that after his injury just lost a little bit of momentum, didn't he, with form, and you know, that Chris Davis stuck by him and still played him game by game, and you know, that's the quality he possesses, doesn't he? You know, he can find those areas of space that find it so difficult to defend against, so difficult to mark, and yeah, the slide passes to perfection, straight to Keshi Anderson, and he does the rest.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say the most frustrating things about Willem Willemsen is the fact that, yeah, in the first 2, 3, 4 months of his Blues tenure, it's the Blues fans had seen a bar set so high with his technical ability and, as we say, his vision and his passing range and his creative edge. And then, as you say, as he lost that, I think that's the thing that frustrated the fans the most. But as you've said, Paints, in the past 4 or 5 games, he's really just started to come out of his shell again and really show the best of what the Icelander has in his locker. And here comes Clara again. And here's Willemsen, and he can touch in field. Reverse ball to Stansfield down the right-hand side of the penalty area. Flicks past to Ethan Laird. Then Laird for Dow. Infield to Willemsen. And Blues are playing with a swagger on the edge of the Mansfield penalty box. And there's Dow flicked into Iwata, who will nod down for Stansfield. And the snapshot left foot is just inches wide on the left-hand post, with Pym scrambling. It's liquid, it's sensational, it's irresistible from Blues, who are playing with confidence flowing through the veins of the champions.
It's exactly that. It's players that are 1-0 up at Pax St Andrews, backed by the fans, champions, and they're just full of confidence. You can see it every time they go forward. They're creative with their play. We're finding such great areas with our movement. You know, it'd be surprising, wouldn't it, if this scoreline stays at 1-0, especially with the kind of threat we're looking when we go forward in the final third.
Pym fires upfield, the Mansfield goalkeeper. Ben Davis sends it back from where it came in no uncertain terms. Well, a win for Blues this afternoon will mean that we have taken 61 points from a possible 69 at home. 8 points dropped. Sorry, mathematics, not much on to.
That's phenomenal, isn't it? What a phenomenal stat. You know, I think that you have to kind of bring attention to those kind of things, don't you? Because, you know, not many teams do that, obviously. And even if you look at previous winners of this division or even other divisions, I don't think many teams win it so convincingly in the fashion which we've done, and with the identity we've won it with. You know, I think there's a clear playing philosophy and identity that Chris Davis has brought to this Birmingham City team.
You know, and after we've mentioned, you know, the past 8-10 years that Blues have been through, as Stansfield's played over the top, he's in a duel with Aidan Flint. Flint will nod the ball behind for a corner. As I was going to say, in the past decade, you know, it's clear that no one who supports Birmingham City is taking this period of success for granted because of what's happened these past 10 years or so. And, you know, it's a day like today that Blues fans just fully deserve. And Blues are looking to start the celebrations going with a second goal from a corner kick here as Peck swings it into the penalty area. Pym with a two-fisted punch out, and then Dow clips towards the edge of the penalty area. Stansfield's dispossessed. Here comes Mansfield charging forward through Bacchus, but he's stopped in his tracks. Stansfield tenacious, and Stansfield wins the decision. And Mansfield, it must be such a tough place to come, where Blues haven't lost all season, and especially when there's such a party atmosphere like this afternoon. Blues grab the early goal and you're really up against it as the away side.
Well, you are. You know, you go 1-0 down if you're Mansfield. You know, it's probably one of the hottest days of the year, isn't it? And with a Birmingham City team that retain possession so well. I've been there myself. It's difficult. It's soul destroying at times, where you just feel like you're chasing shadows and the team's constantly got the ball against you, and it can be physically and mentally draining. And, you know, the way this first half has gone, it's just been all Blues, hasn't it?
As Anderson links up with Cochrane, but hits low ball into the penalty areas. Hoofed out of play by the towering Aidan Flint, the veteran centre-back back there, the Mansfield captain. He did score in Mansfield's last away game, their 3-3 draw with Rotherham a few weeks ago. throw in from the near side, and there's another ball on the pitch, but play continues because Williamson's got the ball inside the penalty area, and Stansfield looks to find someone inside the 18-yard box. Mark Leonard actually going to take it upon himself while carrying out his warm-ups to take that loose ball off the field. Iwata looks to spray it out wide to Ethan Laird. Played the ball a few yards behind the Blues right back, but he's retrieved it nonetheless, and Laird can charge on the periphery of the box. And there's Iwata, urged to shoot, but will clip it towards Paik. Dealt with by the back line of Mansfield, only as far as Cochrane. Now Anderson looking to tease his way down the left-hand side of the box. Cochrane. Inside it goes to Keshi Anderson. It's just a big wall of black shirts back there for Mansfield. Desperate to keep the score as it is, with just that Keshi Anderson strike to separate the two sides. Cochrane, halfway line, threads it through looking for Williamson. Bacchus was there to step across and intervene, and then Pym can clear upfield, met by the head of Christoph Clara. Bowery can head forward towards Jordan Rhodes on the halfway line for Mansfield. Boateng, seen to by Williamson, but he offloads to McDonald, and now Mansfield can have the ball at the back with Aidan Flint. And Flint will hook it to this near side for Bowery, who wins the flick on forward against Alex Cochrane, but Ben Davies is there to cover across the intentions of Bacchus, and Williamson's having his shirt almost ripped from his torso, and the referee finally awards the free kick on the halfway line.
Chris Davies applauding Williamson there. Just really uses his body so well, doesn't he? Just to kind of get himself in the way of the Mansfield player, and has no other option really, just to haul him down. He'd actually got himself the wrong side there, hadn't he?
Anderson found over the top. The offside flag is up as Alex Cochrane looked to pick out Keshi Anderson over the top of George Williams, who's just turned to have a deep conversation with Aidan Flint, because by Mansfield's point of view, Blues are finding it all too easy to find these passing channels through and over that Mansfield back line. But as for us, plenty of joy to cover.
That's it. There's been moments where Mansfield have gone man-to-man with the way we play, and that's always difficult when you have a team like Birmingham that have so much of the ball, and also by going man-to-man it leaves players like Jay Stansfield alone against Aidan Flint that he'd probably have the better with in terms of pace, and along with others. So you are taking a big risk. It's quite brave to defend like that, but no, I'm not sure whether that's something Mansfield would continue with in the second half, considering how dominant we've been.
Rhodes, always a threat with his experience and goal-scoring record, twisting and turning in the box and winning Mansfield a corner off of Ben Davies, which will be taken from this near side. Bacchus places the ball down. Plenty of black shirts up for Mansfield. It's clipped into the 6-yard box. It's Clara out, and the referee has signalled that Bacchus's corner kick left the field of play and then came back in, I think. So it'll be a goal kick for Blues in the sunshine. We played 35 minutes at St Andrews at Knighthead Park on our coronation day as the champions of League One. And Keshi Anderson's smart finish after 25 minutes means that it's Blues 1, Mansfield 0. And you just feel, for the sake of Juki, that we want to get this game wrapped up as soon as possible, so that Chris Davies is happy enough to chuck Juki on as a Cochrane cross goes all the way through the flurry of players in the penalty area, and Ethan Laird with a rushed, sliced effort wide. A wry smile from Ethan Laird, who maybe thought he should have done better, but he might have seen it late and not expected it to come to him. What a ball by Cochrane.
Excellent delivery. The fact it makes it all the way through to the opposite fullback, Ethan Laird, is quite surprising actually, but yeah, he's got a smile on his face, Laird, but I think he probably knows he should have done a lot better with that one.
George Williams is having a torrid time down this right-hand side, as well as Josh Bowery trying to deal with Keshi Anderson.
Finding it very hard, aren't they? It's a case of Bowery now looking to even drop into the back line to go and deal with Anderson. it's always a sign, especially from an attacking point of view, that you're getting the better of them. And that'll allow you then one extra body in our back line to possibly step with the ball or free up, especially on this left-hand side, Cochrane.
Blues again just being patient, starving Mansfield of possession. We're on the halfway line, encamped in Stag territory. Dow barrels down the right-hand side, slipped in field to Stansfield, was the target. Boateng on the cover, made the intervention, but Stansfield's robbed Oshilaja of it, just shy of the corner flag, and then wins a corner kick despite the advances of Oshilaja, taking nibble after nibble out of Stansfield's shirt. And Stansfield just staring down the Mansfield centre-back, because he knows he's got the beating of him. And I think Oshilaja knows that as well.
He's so sharp, Stansfield, isn't he? You know, when he nips in there and nicks the ball and then gets wrong side, you know you're in trouble as a defender. And we spoke about it early, his work rate off the ball's phenomenal. Must be a defender's nightmare.
Left-footed corner kick from Dow to the near post. Clara was dancing across, but his flick only takes it behind for a Mansfield goal kick. But it's a flurry of corners that Blues have had in this first half. I'm sure Chris Davis and Jonathan Grounds, especially the set-piece coach, will be determined for Blues to make a bit more out of these set-piece situations and get out of sight as quickly as possible this afternoon, and not give Mansfield a chance to have any sort of glimpse of joy in the game. And, you know, especially when you've got Jordan Rhodes on the pitch, there's always a threat. Here is the veteran striker bringing the ball down, but faced by Tomoki Iwata. Then Boateng takes over, and then Rhodes is outnumbered, and Iwata can prod it back to Ryan Allsop. And it's just the relentless tenacity of the bodies in there from Blues, match day after match day, which must be just so frustrating in the middle of the park for any opposition.
Well, you know, I think at this stage of the season that you normally hear the phrase already on the beach, don't you? And especially when there's probably little to play for, the fact that we've won crowned as champions and won the league so convincingly, but there's certainly no let up from these players in front of us here. That kind of tenacious approach from, well, you see it in the last action there, about 4 players surrounding Mansfield, just desperate to regain possession, regain the ball, and that's something that Chris Davis has instilled into the players, that, you know, as soon as the ball's turned over, we go and get it back as quickly as we can, then get back in control.
Davis, long diagonal over the head of Williams again for Keshi Anderson to chase towards the byline. Anderson again just teasing Williams to back off into his penalty area. Tees up Cochrane to stand up towards the back post. There's Laird, it's palmed away only as far as Williamson, and Williamson turns it in for 2. A welcome goal for the Icelander, and with records there to be broken, Blues take another step towards League One immortality, and Willem Williamson gets himself on the score sheet at St Andrews. Blues 2, Mansfield 0. Williamson on the spot to turn home.
That's a nice one for him, isn't it, Williamson? Just where it lands. No, he hasn't got too much to do, but no, really pleased for him. You know, we were only speaking a little bit earlier, weren't we, about him, you know, kind of having that little bit of dip of form, but this afternoon you can see he's really making an impact. Set up the first goal, puts the second one away. No, one afternoon that he can be really pleased with. No, we're only in the first half, so it's really pleased for Williamson there on that.
2 goals for Blues, a goal and an assist for Willem Williamson. It's the Iceman, head and shoulders above the rest on a sunny day at St Andrews. Blues 2, Mansfield 0.
I think what's extra special about it is that, especially as there's the occasion this afternoon in terms of potentially lifting the trophy, and at the end of the 90 minutes, you want to make sure as a player that you go and win the day and make it kind of that extra bit special, if you like. So you know, the players are well on track for that. They've been dominant in this first half. I think the first 15 minutes maybe Mansfield started well and had a good spell, didn't they? I mean, they had the larger chance, but after those 15 minutes it's been all Blues.
Stansfield thought he got the better of Craig, but the referee's whistle stopped Stansfield running head on at the Tilton. Of course, Stano still in that race for the Golden Boot with Charlie Kelman. He's 2 behind the Norwich striker in the League One goal scorer rankings. Kelman drew a blank yesterday in Orient's win over Wickham. And if the floodgates open here, you fancy Stano to maybe close that gap. Still with 2 games to go. It's a team sport, but you've got to look at the individual accolades as well. I'm sure Stansfield will love to take home the Golden Boot.
Oh, without a doubt. You know, every striker or number 9 that I've seen or played with, that they are quite a selfish individual in a sense, and I mean that in the nicest possible way.
I've worked with Tommy Mooney.
There you go. Yeah. It's exactly that. So, and they pride themselves on the amount of goals that they score, and it matters a lot to them. And obviously, as a teammate, you want your number 9 to be getting goals. Normally, the more they score, the more successful you become. So, yeah, he'll have his eye on that, no doubt about it. And obviously, he hasn't really gotten the score sheet this afternoon, but I'm sure he'll be absolutely desperate, and he'll keep giving the Mansfield backline a hard time until he does so.
That's now 41 goals at home in the league for Blues. And they're going to be forced into a change here, Mansfield. Matt Craig is going to make way for Louis Reed. So to add insult to injury, Mansfield 2 goals down, and now an enforced change for Nigel Clough's men. Williamson heads away from the edge of the Blues penalty area. Hooked back by Bowery. Bacchus is interested. Clara takes charge. And it's bounced behind for a corner kick. Well, Mansfield have had a few of these corners in this first half. Came close from one of them. Be desperate to get themselves on the score sheet and reduce the deficit to just 1 before the half-time whistle.
Yeah, their best chance of the half went to Asilaja, wasn't it, in the first 15 minutes, and no doubt he'll be looking at it going, right, I need to take the next chance that I'm given.
Bacchus, right-footed looping corner kick is met by Rhodes, but held by Ryan Olson. First touch for Reed since coming on for Mansfield. Williams with Bacchus. Mess up their lines. Blues win the throw. Three minutes of added time at the end of the first half. And here's Dowell on the right-hand side for Blues. Ben Davis. Anderson's peeling away on this left-hand side. Barry's now checked his shoulder to find him. Still with Ben Davis. Short it goes to Cochrane, into Anderson's feet now. Anderson back in field to Williamson. And Williamson's in the mood today.
Yeah, you can see he's really feeling it, can't you? And sometimes that's what confidence does. You know, he's played a massive part in the first goal, got himself the second goal, and now sometimes you can feel invincible as a player. You want the ball at every opportunity. Nothing can go wrong for you, and looks like he's feeling that way today, Williamson.
Paik. Here is Williamson. He just hung around this left-hand side. And this is Davis. And Clara will step over the halfway line. And this is now Dow on the right-hand side. Driving in field, offloads to Anderson. Dow continues his run. Instead, it's Williamson. And Blues are going through the gears again. And Stansfield goes down after looking for the 1-2 from Kieran Dow. Looked like he was body checked before he could receive the return ball from Kieran Dow. Referee, though, waved away any appeals.
It looked like it from here, didn't it, Matt? You know, it looked just the give and go, looked to get it the other side, and as he did that, just Elijah wasn't it? Just used his body just to block him off. Really surprised the referee didn't give a free kick for that one.
Referee John Busby shook his head and said no. Avid Blues Plus listeners, I just turned to my right and Del Moon is in a frenzy of anger at the referee's decision. You won't be shocked to find out. But it's been a really complete half from Blues in the first period. As you say, a brief spell from Mansfield, who just threatened to spoil the party and mute the crowd after what was a grandiose occasion to start with. But Blues slowly but surely fit into our rhythm and have really dominated proceedings.
Yeah, following that first 15 minutes, it's as I said, it's just been all Blues. And you know what's been really pleasing today, I think we've looked really dangerous when we have approached the Mansfield goal. I mean, getting yourself 2 goals within the first half is always pleasing at any point. But I think we always expect us to dominate the ball, but we've looked a real threat with it when we do get into the final third.
And the half ends with a flourish from Ryan Alsop. And it's another complete performance from Blues as we look to round off a complete league season unbeaten at St Andrews at Knighthead Park, and we're going about it in some swagger indeed so far. Keshi Anderson got us going after linking up with Willem Williamson. It was Keshi who dispatched into the bottom corner, and then it was the Icelander who got himself on the score sheet. A brilliant ball in by Cochrane. Stansfield effort was saved, but Willem Williamson could fire home into an empty net to get a goal and an assist in the sunshine at St Andrews, and to go with our League One coronation so far in the driving seat, and the party can get well and truly going, Pates.
It's been excellent, hasn't it? Yeah, I know. I just said it a while ago that after the first 15 minutes, it's been dominant Blues display. Because they're playing with such a ruthless streak in this afternoon, really punished Mansfield with the chances they've created, and I guarantee he'll be asking more of the same in the second half.
Yeah, so job done as far as the first 45 minutes is concerned. Another dominant first half performance from Blues. Second half of our final League One fixture at St Andrews at Knighthead Park of the season is just around the corner, and Blues are in cruise control. We lead Mansfield by 2-0. So both sets of players back out for the second half in the sunshine at St Andrews at Knighthead Park. Thanks at half-time, Mike and Tommy on Blues Plus. And it's just the one change at half-time. George Williams, the one at right centre-back for Mansfield, who Keshi Anderson tormented in that first half, has been replaced by George Maris. So an attacking change for Mansfield, who have to go for it, you feel. It's got nothing left to lose. There's nothing riding on this game for the Stags. They're already safe from relegation. And here is the substitute, George Maris. And he will fire it across the halfway line. It's missed by Bowery, and Keshi Anderson will give chase with Bacchus. And that's out of play on the far side. No changes for Blue, so Walsop in goal. Laird, Clara, the captain, Davis and Cochrane. Tawaki Iwata and Paik Sung-ho. Kieran Dowles, goal scorer Willemsen, and Anderson in behind Jay Stansfield. As for Mansfield, it looks like they might have gone 4 at the back with that change. So it's McDonald, Flint, Oshilaja and Bowery. Reed, Boateng and Maris, with Bacchus, Vickers and Rhodes in attack.
Yeah, it does appear to us from here, doesn't it, that Mansfield have made that shape change. And I think, you know, it's probably sensible, in all fairness, when you find you 2-0 down and, you know, you're facing a Birmingham City team that have been dominant, and it makes sense, doesn't it? You know, you look to try and find ways to help your team, and it's probably the reason why they've gone with that decision.
Well, Birmingham City women and London City Lionesses both drew earlier, so that means it's going to go to a shootout on the last day next Sunday here at St Andrews at Knighthead Park. Birmingham City women against London City Lionesses. Winner takes all and is promoted to the Super League. Get yourself down for that. But here, Blues lead Mansfield by 2-0. Iwata will slip through. Laird on the edge of the Mansfield penalty area. And there's Kieran Dowell to hit a thunderbolt. And Christy Pym got it, fingertips on it, taken over the crossbar.
Wow, what a strike by Kieran Dowell. Really got some power on that, didn't he? And no, that's probably one where if you Pym, it's moving very fast, and these balls these days, they do move and they do shift. Yeah, he's got an excellent hand to it.
So corner, Dowell has come across to take it after it was his effort that was palmed over towards the back post where Davis was waiting, taken off his head by a flick from Rhodes. Second consecutive corner. Blues have started the second half strong. Paik, short it goes to Cochrane. Cochrane to Iwata, angle for the cross, left it into the penalty area. Clara nods back across, and there's Paik, who puts his diving header wide. And it's just Blues at the start of the second half, popping efforts at goal at will.
Yeah, just a flurry of set pieces, isn't it? And you know, that's the one. Big Clara gets up, wins the first contact, and Paik has actually got into a good position there. And probably looking back on that one, he'll probably regret the fact he hasn't done better with his header. Just one that you normally look to aim back across goal, but no, as I say, that Blues back on the attack.
Yeah, Stansfield pop shot was charged down on the edge of the penalty area, and this is Ethan Laird now on the right-hand side. Blues picking up where they left off in the first half, encamped in Stag territory. And there's Clara in the sunshine, aims out to the right-hand side for Laird. Gets the ball out of his feet and has Vickers to contest with. Williamson, who had a terrific first half goal and an assist for the Icelander, pops it off to Davis. And Cochrane sends it round the corner for Anderson into the shaded part of the turf in front of the Kop. Anderson looking to go the long way round Bowery, and he's offloaded to Paik. And Paik will pick out Dowell, and Dowell finds the roof of the net for 3. And Blues are charging towards the League One history books. And Kieran Dowell on the score sheet again. He has been incredible since his arrival at the club. His 9th goal contribution in his 19 Blues appearances. Another terrifically taken goal.
Yeah, Keshi Anderson starts with the ball, doesn't he, and combines with Williamson just to, you know, deliver that inch-perfect cross. Lands just inside the 6-yard box, and here's Kieran Dowell, times his movement to perfection and powers the ball into the back of the net. You know, I mean, you're spot on with what you're saying, Matt. His impact this season has been phenomenal, hasn't it? You know, really intelligent footballer. You know, one there probably surprised himself a little bit that he's popped up with a goal from an aerial spot, you know, using his head, but no, nevertheless he'll be really pleased with it. Want to add to his goal tally this season.
Yeah, a player known for his talented feet, finds the net with his head. His 5th goal of the season for Blues. It's actually his 10th goal contribution now in his 19 Blues appearances, who's just added another dynamic to the Blues offensive play. And this is Cochrane, and Blues want more, and Mansfield are going to be the subject of Blues celebrations in this second half if they're not careful.
That's it, you can really see that we have really got a ruthless edge about us today. You know, it's something that the manager talks about, is having that edge to your game, and certainly in terms of us going forwards and our attacking style today, we've been really dangerous.
And then Dowell on the hunt, and Dowell in the penalty area. He had options in the middle if he would have squared it. Wanted to check back onto his left foot, and the chance fades. Laird, caught late by Vickers, goes unpunished. Clara, a long sweeping diagonal for Keshi Anderson, brings it down. Cochrane's made the burst beyond him. Keshi Anderson can't find him because Backer steps in. But Keshi Anderson gets a round of applause from his manager for his tenacity in tracking back and making up for his error.
Well, that's it, you know, you see the work rate there by Anderson. Just tracks back, regains the ball, and straight away we're back in control of it again. I think that's something that, you know, you have to kind of look at, the fact that what our fans want to see. Obviously you want to see players with quality, but when it comes to effort, when it comes to commitment, that's what Keshi Anderson has just given you there in that instance. Just willing to chase anything, any lost cause, desperate to get the ball back for his team. Only a few chance of Duke, can't you, at this stage now? Whether not sure. I can see him warming up at the moment, but you know, with the scoreline at 3-0, Mansfield not really offering much apart from the first 15 minutes of the game in the first half. I think this is kind of edging towards a good run out for Djukovic, isn't it? And hopefully he'll get the standing ovation and the attention he deserves.
Blues have won it high, but Dowell's touch was heavy. But Blues have numbers up here. One of them is Stansfield, the other is Keshi Anderson, and out came Pym. Just about did enough to squander the effort, and it trickles wide, and Mansfield can sweep it away. But they're playing kamikaze football at the back, Mansfield, and Blues happy to hunt and pick their pockets. And now the party can really start. Clara, Willemsen.
Has just been very much attack v defence, hasn't it, since his second half has started. Blues again with a lot of the football, and it seems to appear that Mansfield are just happy to defend in a low block now. Maybe it's a case of damage limitation if you're Mansfield.
Just a great atmosphere. There's been all game, and obviously the goals have helped that, but these Blues fans haven't stopped singing for 50-55 minutes. They have their club back, and my word, are we enjoying it. Anderson on the far side. Still plenty of time to go as Anderson drives towards the byline. Was he tugged back by Bowery? Referee says no. And Mansfield can hook the ball away.
Yeah, definite shout for a free kick. I think on the first one, on the first pull on Anderson, but Mansfield just looking to double up on Anderson now, just because of all the problems that he's causing every time he gets the ball.
Peik. Iwata. Clara. Dowell. Brilliant. Iwata. Sensational. Absolutely sensational. Well, it's Blues coronation day, and we are certainly putting the jewel in that crown in the sun today. It's ceremony football, it's liquid football, it's Birmingham City at our best.
Some of the football we're experiencing here this afternoon is absolutely breathtaking. Absolutely breathtaking. It's, you know, that back heel there by Dowell, the forward movement by Iwata, the finish. They're actually making it look like they're in a training session at times. It looks that comfortable for them. But, you know, we have said that Blues have looked really ruthless going forward, and it continues. Again, it really is phenomenal, some of the play that we're experiencing. Nice composed finish by Iwata. Signals by celebrating, pointing up to his family that are up here in the stands.
Yeah, right below us we can see his wife, his two kids enjoying their daddy getting on the score sheet. And Tomoki Iwata, it's the first time he scored actually since that rocket against Newcastle. And surely now with Blues 4-0 up, it can't be long. It can't be long until we're going to see him.
Yeah, the shouts for Duke are getting louder and louder each goal that we score.
And then there's Davis to clip over the top, and Ethan Laird has got onto it on the edge of the penalty area, down into the penalty area. Referee with just a deft wag of the finger in denial. Maybe to just give Mansfield small mercies.
I think that's what it's a case of. There's definite contact there, and I think if the scoreline was wasn't what it is now, the referee would have a different decision.
Djukovic is up on the bench. He's standing up. Surely it's nearly time for the Duke.
It's just relentless, isn't it, this? Just relentless. I mean, since the second half has kicked off, I don't think I've seen Mansfield actually go over the halfway line.
Yeah, as you say, relentless, merciless. The champions making no mistake and taking no prisoners. Iwata, Stansfield, and Mansfield chasing shadows.
Yeah, they are. They're really finding it tough, aren't they? I'm sure it's a case of they keep looking at that clock, the referee, asking the referee how long's left, because, you know, there's times like these when you're 4-0 down on a hot day where you're chasing after the ball and everything seems to be going wrong for you. You know, on the other hand, Birmingham City, they won't want this fixture to end. Just been ravenous going forward, haven't they? Just everything that goes forward now, you know it's going to end in something, whether it's an opportunity. Here we go again, look.
It's Stansfield. It's Anderson in field to Iwata. Ethan Laird on the right-hand side. Iwata. Stansfield. Peck had made the burst in behind, but Stansfield takes up the mantle and drives towards the left-hand side. Iwata into Willemsen. The flick to Dowell. And the self-set-up volley from Kieran Dowell is just over the crossbar. And Mansfield are going to make a change. Jordan Rhodes is going to be replaced by Ben Wayne. And Chris Davis and Tom Hoddleston are just going through some final tactics, I think, to ready for the introduction of the big man.
Yeah, just getting a few details ironed out by the looks of things, Davis and Tom Huddleston. You know, it was without a doubt be one where they'll be looking to make a number of changes. You know, with the scoreline at 4-0, you could be confident enough to say, even at this stage, that the game's done. Just be a good opportunity to reward the squad and some of those players that have played such an important part in this promotion-winning team also. Get the minutes, freshen things up. You know, there's a lot of players out there that are working tirelessly. You know, last thing you want, you know, with 2 games to go this season, that one or two of your players are picking up niggles or the odd injury or two. So, yeah, I expect to see a few changes shortly.
Clara flows to Dowell on this near side, and Davis. And Peck looked to link up with Anderson. That was blocked over there by Bacchus. And now Mansfield looking to build down the right as Wayne finds Bacchus. And Wayne back in field it goes towards the substitute Maris. And it's turned over by Blues, who have been utterly relentless with and without the ball. Haven't given Mansfield a sniff since Oshilaja's header flew narrowly wide after 5-10 minutes. Here is Oshilaja looking to put a ball in behind for Wayne to give chase, but That's easy pickings for Ryan Allsop, who can get involved for the first time in a while.
Yeah, you could just see, just taking our time, having a bit of patience behind our build-up. You know, not rushing anything. You can see Mansfield have took an approach where they're putting majority of bodies behind the ball. And they've only left Wayne as the single striker. So you'll see a lot of Clara, a lot of Davies, even Cochrane in the build when it comes to deeper areas and mid-build. But you know, we always seem to try and find our way forwards, which we're doing again.
Yeah, throw-in taken quickly towards Stansfield. Looks like Djukovic is going to be part of a quadruple change. Gardner, Hickman, Harris, May will all join Lucas Djukovic on coming on at St Andrews at Knighthead Park next time the ball leaves the pitch.
Clara. Such tidy play there, you know, just to get the ball out of tight situations, even though there's a number of bodies around Pate there, just tidy things up. Just has that composure and that awareness of where the space is on the pitch.
Also will fire forward. Ethan Laird will be the running runner, but he's marshalled off by McDonald back there, and Pimp can collect, and Djukovic is made to wait with May, Gardner, Hickman and Harris on the technical area in front of us, just going through some final tactical discussions, easy for me to say. Clara.
I think the four subs below us are just itching for that ball to go out of play, but you know, in the style of play that we have, very good on the ball, aren't we? So makes you wonder how long it will be until there's a break to be able to get them onto the field.
Your wishes, their command paints as Kesh Anderson goes barrelling into Bacchus. The changes can be made. First of all, Luke Harris will replace Willem Willemsen, who receives a standing ovation. He has had a terrific game, the Icelander, a goal and an assist, and he's been at his very, very best this afternoon. Keshi Anderson will come off as well. He'll be replaced by Alfie May. Keshi has helped himself to another goal, his 9th for the season this afternoon, to get the party started. Taylor Gardner-Hickman will also come on.
Standing ovation for these players that leave the pitch, you know, fully deserved. Some excellent performances this afternoon and over the course of the season, obviously, but this is the man that the loudest roar will go to when he comes onto the field as Kieran Dowell comes off. It's Lucas Djukovic.
Yeah, here he comes, and listen to this. A man who has embodied this badge like very few others have. Only a select handful have worn this shirt and garnered the respect that he has at the club. A true legend who's been through this club through everything, the almighty lows and now the brilliant highs, dedicating the majority of his career to restore this club to its glory. his 357th appearance. And he sports the captain's armband from Christophe Clara on what is his last on the St Andrews at Knighthead Park turf. And Paints, just imagine if he hits the back of the net. I don't think any what we can say on the microphone will do it justice.
Well, the chance just gone up if Juki scores on the pitch, so I think the fans have set it in their sights what they'd like to do, but whether that will happen, who knows. But just what a servant for this club. What a career, and what a gentleman as well. Got time for every single person he meets, fans, staff. It'd be what a great occasion for him to bow out on such a fantastic career he's had. Finishing as champions, and to a packed St Andrews in full form. No better time to do it.
And Gardner Hickman has replaced Ethan Laird as well at right back. Here's Harris. Harris turns and finds Davis. And Davis will clip into Stansfield, and Žukovic is moving in the centre. And Stansfield pulls it back. It's towards Lukas Žukovic as he looks to get onto the loose ball, but the bouncing ball beats Iwata. But then it's charged back by Taylor Gardner-Hickman. And Gardner-Hickman will settle for the throw-in. Gardner-Hickman, it's towards Lukas Žukovic, is over his head into the penalty area. And it's out of play and behind.
It was a teasing one, wasn't it? Because when you've got Juki on the pitch, just anything aerially inside that 18-yard box, he'll make something of it. But fortunately, that one was just over hit. But you could see his eyes light up, don't they, Juki, when those stood-up crosses appear. So effective at it. Just one where he's able to pull onto a centre-back or in between two centre-backs, and I've seen so often the amount that he's powered into the back of the net.
Stephen McCauley replacing McDonald's, and Karim Boateng will be replaced by the veteran Stephen Quinn, making his 704th senior appearance.
An eagerness by Gardner Hickman, wasn't there, just to get the ball back, and not being able to get it back, just give Vickers just a little tug, if you like, just to hurry him up. But referee just giving them both a talking to.
Oh, just under 15 minutes to go. Oh, this game's all but done and dusted. The League One points record in the bag. You feel there's just one objective left to tick off, to get that man his farewell goal. And now Taylor Gardner-Hickman's looking to provide it down the right-hand side. May and Žukovic are in the middle. Here's Alfie May. Off to Stansfield. Left-hand side will hang it up. Lukas Žukovic was in there, but the offside flag is up. There's just such a sense of anticipation every time the ball is swung into the penalty area.
So many people in the stadium just willing that ball to go towards Lukas Žukovic, isn't there? You could just sense it. anytime he goes near it, such an excitement around the ball towards Juki.
Nigel Clough just cuts a figure of pure frustration out there, the Mansfield manager, barking at his players.
I mean, it's a difficult task, isn't it? You know, you're coming away from home, probably haven't had the best season yourselves. Obviously, they've stayed up, which they'll be delighted with. But coming to the champions away from home that are in such good form, and you know, especially this afternoon. I mean, we've been devastating to play against, haven't we, in terms of our ruthlessness in front of goal. It must be so hard, and to top it all off when the weather's hot and you're running and chasing, it's never easy, really isn't. But you know, I think as far as Mansfield go, the fact they've secured League One status is probably one of their biggest objectives, the way things were going. So you know, one that I know Nigel Clough won't be too happy about, but I'm sure he'll be able to move on quickly.
And since the introduction of McLaughlin, it looks like Aidan Flint's gone up as a makeshift striker, the towering centre-back, just to offer Mansfield something different up there. But hopefully that leaves a bit of a void aerially at the back that Juki can exploit. It's played over the top this time towards Alfie May, and Alfie May right-hand side of the box. Jukovic was up with him. Taylor Gardner-Hickman, it's over the head of Jukovic. Stansfield was arriving, it might come through Watter, who chooses to side-foot it, and he side-foot it wide.
Every cross that goes into the box, we're all just checking to see where Juki is he anywhere near it? On that occasion, it was actually Stansfield, wasn't it, that got up to try and contest it. No, but they're the kind of deliveries that Juki will want, and any of the strikers, in all fairness, you know, they want an early delivery to try and catch Mansfield off guard if they can. But it actually wasn't a bad ball by Gardner-Hickman, whipped in with pace towards the back post area.
The ironic thing is, Juki's the type of guy who won't like this. He won't like us all egging him on for a goal. He doesn't like the spotlight. That's just the type of humble guy he is. Regardless of the career he's had and just how successful he's been in the game, he won't enjoy the fact that everyone's egging him on to score this afternoon. He's very much a team player, doesn't like taking the spotlight. I think you've seen that with the past few celebrationary fist pumps, where he doesn't like to volunteer himself despite the crowd begging for him to lead the fist bump celebrations. Lukas Jukovic. And there he was, linking up play as Blues look down the left-hand side. Brilliant by Stansfield, he's left his man for dead, and he can make tracks down the left-hand side. Stansfield crossing to the penalty area. Jukovic was up there, flicked away from him by McLaughlin. Throw in Blues from the right-hand side. How long we got? How long for Lucas to get a goal? I think about 10 minutes. Gardner-Hickman. Iwata into the feet of May. He looked to combine with Luke Harris. Got the ball stuck underneath his feet. And then Wayne looking to get it in behind Clara, who keeps pace with him. Then Wayne, infield it goes to Marcus. And Maris can't get the better of the retreating Haek Sung Ho in the penalty area, of all people, tracking his man back the whole way and denying what was Mansfield's best opening of the second half.
Yeah, that's the only time they've looked to threaten in this second half, and it's excellent work by Pay, just to stay with the runner, just to get safe side and use his body to get the contact. Just didn't allow Mansfield to get the other side, which started to look like a bit of a threatening attack, wasn't it? But no, excellent work rate. You know, you're seeing it, and as I say, that the board's gone up with Pake's number on it. That's his afternoon done after that lung-busting run just to recover and kind of protect the clean sheet.
Yeah, it's a fitting farewell for Paik after that defensive challenge. And Paik will make way for Mark Leonard. You know, it's a stat that singles Leonard out. Well, I don't mean to do it, but it's a stat that actually says a lot about the rest of the team, that only, I think, Mark Leonard, MJ and Grant Hanley are the only outfield players not to get on the score sheet this season, which just shows, Paints, is that how important is that in a camp that everyone chips in? Is that something that will really please the managerial staff?
Massively important, yeah. And that's it. You can't just rely on your number 9 and your forward players to get you all the goals. I think those contributions from those midfielders or even those players in the defensive areas, as you've said, Matt, kind of everyone's took it in turns to pop up with a goal at some point. But yeah, I mean, that shared responsibility is massive.
Juki still getting involved in the rough and tumble. And that's the final rally cry from the Blues fans. We want 5, we want 1 man on the score sheet. Here's Stansfield on the left-hand side. Stansfield looking to play in Luke Harris, but the ball beyond him, and Pym can pick up inside his 6-yard box. Just under 10 to go then until the 90. Blues all but there in terms of home turf immortality in the league this season. A whole league season unbeaten at home. Hasn't been done since 1972 at Blues. And of course only Burnley can boast the same achievement, but they've still got to play a playoff chasing Millwall on the final day of the championship at Turf Moor. Vickers. Quinn on the left-hand side for Mansfield, who are seeking a consolation here, and Vickers has skipped away from Harris, and Vickers will take it on. Snapshot drags it wide of the near post. Ryan Alsop's 14th home clean sheet of the season remains intact. 27,000 inside St Andrews at Knighthead Park to come together and celebrate the rebirth of the Blues, Paints.
Oh, it's excellent, isn't it? We spoke a lot about it pre-game, didn't we? Just the build-up and the atmosphere, and just everyone kind of celebrating this day and celebrating the success of this season. Really has been a special day, and to top it off with the performance we've seen from the players, just adds to that kind of special occasion that has been created today.
Stansfield, the judge, to have dragged down Bacchus as he looked to run in behind the Mansfield man. But Stano, as he so often does, quickly atones for that and wins the ball back for Blues via a throw-in. Cochrane. It was really fitting, actually, that Alex Cochrane was the man to fire Blues to the century. A real unsung hero this season, and what a finish it was on his left foot for his first Blues goal, Cochrane.
He's just been so consistent, hasn't he, throughout the season, Cochrane, and factor in the amount of games he's actually played this season is phenomenal. The fact he's still able to move. But yeah, what a finish that was in the week. Yeah, really special finish, and again, just another player just adding to those goal contributions.
Harris flicks on. Jukovic looking to peel away from Oshilaja, but Blues have the ball. There's Jukovic. Screams for handball from Jukovic and Alfie May as the big man looked to find Alfie with a flick ball through the heart of the Mansfield back line. Nothing doing from the referee, and the attack breaks down. It was hit an outstretched arm, didn't it? Gardner Hitman, great vision. And this is Cochrane to barrel forward, and he will look to slot in Djukovic. A last-ditch challenge from Bacchus prevents the big man going one-on-one with Christy Pym.
You have to say, you know, that starts with Gardner Hitman. I mean, superb strike with his left foot out to find Cochrane, and as Cochrane's approaching him, I'm thinking, go on, you have a pop yourself, but you know, you could see Djukovic just ahead of him that was making a darting run across the face of the centre-back.
May's been found now down the left-hand channel, and Bowery just plays it off the Blues number 9, and behind it'll be a Mansfield goal kick with just over 5 minutes to go. That's St Andrews.
Great use of the body by Djukovic. Muscled out a bit though, but
yeah,
no, just anticipated that really well, just to drop back in and kind of nudge the Mansfield player out the way, but Mansfield managed to. Well, there we go. It's another free kick. Just a bit stop-start at the moment, isn't it?
Vickers teasing in from the left-hand side, stands the ball up into the penalty area, nobody home in a black shirt, and it bounces harmlessly behind. You can just see the levels of this Blues side. Ryan Alsop and Christoph Clara screaming at the defence that the ball was even allowed to come in from Vickers, despite the fact we're 4-0 up with 3 minutes to go.
Well, that's it, and any defender or goalkeeper will tell you their objective in any game is to keep clean sheets. So the fact that the team have scored 4 goals today, and from an attacking point of view it's been excellent. These boys, until that final whistle goes, will be looking to keep their clean sheet intact. So, you know, I can understand them getting on to 1 or 2 to stop crosses, making sure everyone's doing their job and taking up their roles and responsibilities of defending Ryan Alsop's goal.
Blues just allowing Mansfield to have a bit of an interest in the dying embers of this one. Ball's clipped into the penalty area. Flint heads back to the edge of the 18-yard box. Quinn. Vickers. McLaughlin bursts forward, clips to the edge of the Blues penalty area. A decent ball in behind, heavy touch by Wayne, pulled back, and there's Flint. And coming back was Mark Leonard to stifle him. Corner kick, Mansfield. It's a heroic challenge from Mark Leonard. The utmost bravery against the big man Flint. It might have prevented a goal going in for Mansfield and preserved that clean sheet, Paints.
Yeah, I mean, fantastic, wasn't it, by Mark Leonard? It was the pullback just to the edge that was about to drop to Aidan Flint, and Mark Leonard just gets his body there, just kind of scuppers Flint for making any contact on the ball. Took a kick for it as well. Just having a bit of a spell now, aren't they, Mansfield, in the dying stages here. You know what, this is all half, really. Well, majority of the game, I should say, it's been Blues, but Mansfield just having a moment where they've managing to have a spell just in and around our 18-yard box.
Alfie May brings an end to it in a no-nonsense fashion with a scissor challenge to put the ball out of play. One and a half of the 90 to go. Oshilaja looks long, looks diagonal towards Vickers. Nothing doing, out of play.
Just a case of working the ball now, even winding down the clock if you like. Don't need to be too extravagant with anything you do. Just keep that ball moving, keep Mansfield chasing after it. I think it's something that they've had to do for majority of the game actually, but you know, just continue to do that. Stay in touch with the good habits that have brought you the success in this game.
Well, Shilaja goes over the advertising hoardings as he plays the ball back to Christy Pym, and then Pym downfield is met with a header of Clara, with a commanding header back to Ryan Alsop. Well, there's set to be some wild scenes of celebration on the full-time whistle, as Blues close out our home campaign at St Andrews at Knighthead Park in thumping style against Mansfield. Leonard was caught inside his own half, and Wayne's going to go in the book for his diving challenge on the Scotsman. And as you say, Paints, it's all just coming to a close now, isn't it?
Yeah, you can sense it. And fair play to Wayne there. You know, he's left a bit on Leonard, but straight away runs straight over to him to kind of offer his apologies. You know, it's at this stage of the season when you've got one team being Birmingham that have secured the title, and the other team that's got nothing to play for. It's kind of like an unwritten rule that you don't go to hurt anyone, do anyone at the end of the season. You know, it's one there. I don't think there's any intent in that tackle.
It's the countdown to the inevitable now. Here's Flint, looking to get beyond Davis. Free kick to Mansfield, about 25 yards from goal. And there go the Scarves, and what a sight around St Andrews. A sight of a club reborn, a fan base that believes again. A fan base that have suffered a decade of despair, quickly washed away in a wave of blue celebrations.
Yeah, what a memorable season this has been. You know, and this is one where I myself just being taken back by the atmosphere that's been created and the occasion that's been put on today. It really is a special moment. As I say that, the famous keep right on belts out.
Up go the Scarves, out comes the anthem. Up steps the free kick taker, and Ryan Alsop's there to produce the save. A club that dared to dream at the start of the season have seen the dreams become an almighty reality, and for the first time in a long time can look to the future with hope and with aspiration. And you can feel that in here. You've felt it all afternoon, you've felt it all season. And we just await Juki's crowning glory. We haven't actually seen how much added time's been added on from the fourth official. There wasn't an announcement inside the ground. I think the added time was shown when the announcement for the pitch invasion was being rung out. Anyway, we play on. Leonard Inside it goes to Harris. Maybe one last chance for Blues to make it 5. And Gardner-Hickman will swing into Lucas Jukovic. It's headed away by Oshilaja. Here we go again. Tomoki Iwata gets the ball out wide. Jay Stansfield will look to deliver. Right-footed ball. Jukovic was there, looking to peel away. It comes off a Mansfield player. It falls for Gardner-Hickman. Low ball into the penalty area, is swept away by Mansfield. And that's it. Blues, league invincibles at St Andrews at Knighthead Park.